The thing that impressed me most about Kimi last year was his racecraft. He'd been out of it for 2 years, running into trees. He seemed to manage to run into a lot of trees, but he never hardly touched another driver, did he? And his racecraft, and that's the bit that normally gets rusty. You don't lose the speed, you lose that finesse. And his consistency, I mean, he should have won in Bahrain anyway, but he was just massively impressive.
Here goes Kimi Raikkonen and Romain Grosjean going into turn one. Raikkonen! Done enough on his tyres to keep in the ballpark. Alonso has been locking up brakes. Kimi Raikkonen thinks, you know what, I'm not going to hang around behind you for very much longer, and I'll have 6th place, thank you very much indeed, and does so. Raikkonen moves ahead of Alonso, but Alonso's not going to give this up without a fight, and using that longer gear, he's now just about got himself ahead of Raikkonen, but Raikkonen with the inside line into turn 4, takes it back again and maybe breaks just that touch later to keep hold of that 6th place.
Michael is on a one-stop. Yes, Michael's on a one-stop.
And look at that, Schumacher slow out of La Source. I don't know if he got on the limiter or what, but that's given Raikkonen, who would have been the man with the DRS, I don't think, through the apex of the corner. Look.
Watch on board and hold your breath and breathe in.
Michael just slowed there, curiously. Some kind of issue, because he was underway towards...
Schumacher moves over to cover, through Blanchimont they go, and up towards the bus stop chicane. Raikkonen getting a great toe now, tries to go now around the outside of the bus stop chicane, little lock up, but he's forced his way through and past Michael Schumacher and up into 3rd place.
Great stuff from Raikkonen, and he's put some manners back on Schumacher. Remember when Schumacher squeezed him up against the Lecombe curve? Yeah. And it's like, we'll take that back.
They're changing his strategy.
And he's done a 1:44.6, comfortably the fastest lap of the race, Ted, as you point out, as Raikkonen tries to go around the outside of Maldonado this time, and he's got the racing line in to the next right-hander. Job done. Who said you can't overtake in Valencia?
Well, we've seen two. Who's looking
so he had to lift. So Grosjean had to lift there then. Sorry, we're looking at a different fight.
Oh, it's Raikkonen and Hulkenberg.
That's over 6th place.
How did they not touch going through the chicane? Raikkonen up into 5th place. Here's Gutierrez. He's going to try down the inside into turn 8. Hulkenberg on the brakes. Schumacher a bit later. Raikkonen's there to pick up the scraps. And Nico Hulkenberg in the space of 20 metres is passed by not one but...
You can tell Felipe Massa that message, but you wouldn't want to tell Rosberg, sorry, Raikkonen, would you?
No, not at
the obvious message.
Not at this moment in time. He's got Hulkenberg for company and he's finally gone past him. They nearly banged wheels. It was like rotting stags without the... You can see once again how Raikkonen did it, forcing Hulkenberg to take that inside line.
Going to go on a long while, yeah. The belief that you know the car will...
He's making a move up through the field at the moment, and Kamui Kobayashi, his teammate, also joining in that battle, is now wheel to wheel. Teresta and Raikkonen side by side, going through turn 7. Teresta's got a better line into turn 8 here, might just hold the place, they come perilously close. Raikkonen hanging on in there, and it's worth the while for him as Kimi Raikkonen moves up into 8th place. Brilliant. Kimi Raikkonen going into turn 14. Button's got the inside line. Raikkonen gets squeezed wide, but he's just got ahead of Jenson Button, and he's made it stick, and he moves himself up into 3rd place.
He is comfortably ahead.
Well, no, here's Romain Grosjean now. Is he going to get ahead of Romain Grosjean? The two Lotus is almost touched. Going round the first corner, and Grosjean is forced wide by his more experienced teammate, who was not going to give up that 2nd place. And he's forced Grosjean with a bit of dirt onto his tyres to lock up as well, going into down the main straight we go. Sergio Perez right behind Kimi Raikkonen, pulls out to the left-hand side, fancies Raikkonen into turn one. Raikkonen's got the inside line, but they go wheel to wheel, and then Perez has to run out wide onto the tarmac runoff area. Time gained in the middle sector as well. He's now 1.5 seconds behind Kobayashi, who I'll keep reminding you hasn't made his pit stop yet. He's 6.7 seconds behind the race leader Fernando Alonso.
So Michael went a little bit deep. Raikkonen flicked way down the outside.
Peak out of this Belgian Grand Prix for an oil leak in his Caterham.
Around the outside of No Name, that's pretty brave stuff from Raikkonen.
And then as we get down to Rivage, on the inside of Gutierrez. Hasn't stopped yet, well, neither has Gutierrez to be fair, and what's this, Raikkonen and De Rest are getting very close, Martin.
That's over 12th place at the moment, with the pit stops being out of phase for several of the drivers. This is as close as you'd like. So he's given the car's width, he takes it, and then he jumps to the apex, blocks off De Resta.
That's super drive. Mercedes. So we watch Kimi Raikkonen a little bit earlier on.
Wow.
Sweeping round the outside there. That must have been just as Lewis Hamilton was coming out of the pits about nowish.
That's a world champion's move.
Yeah.
In the Williams, and this is towards turn 5. Raikkonen out wide, way out wide. I'm just going to go back, and you can say Crofty will hate this, but Raikkonen all 4 wheels outside of that white line. Although I have to say it's one of those corners where the stewards do turn a blind eye. Does the switch back nice and easy on the straight down to turn 7. Later on, he passed Maldonado. As we have a look here, this is actually quite a good move. Down, this is non-DRS, down into turn 14. He goes round the outside, and we're going to go virtual here, just see how close Maldonado and Raikkonen came to contact. We just go down and have a look. That is, you don't want it any closer than that to risk any damage to either car, really. But Kimi got the job done, back on board now as we accelerate out of the corner and got past.
Starting to grain a bit already. DRS open for Kimi Raikkonen. He's had 1 Mercedes into this chicane. Make that 2 Mercedes into this chicane. Kimi Raikkonen moves himself up into 4th place. It looked oh so easy. Hamilton complaining of a...
Gli pneumatici più freschi di Raikkonen danno modo al finlandese di aprire prima il gas e di avere maggiore accelerazione in uscita dalla
bel sorpasso.
Lutfield.
To their advantage, but Adrian's older tyres were no match for Kimi. Seized upon Hamilton under braking and moved up to 4th. He'd made several attempts, but Sebastian knew he had to play the long game and get to the checkered flag.
A lap. 2 seconds the difference as we're back on board with Raikkonen, making a move now on Felipe Massa into the first turn, and the former Ferrari driver gets past the current Ferrari driver here in Australia, which means he still hasn't completed a lap. Here is Kimi Raikkonen, moves past Sergio Perez. Not often you see a driver getting past on the entry into that chicane.
No, out of the window, he absolutely launched off the line, and still they're side by side and banging with Nico Rosberg having a poor first lap. Felipe Massa's got through there too now with Kimi Raikkonen, so awful start for Nico Rosberg.
Well, we're watching Kobayashi and Raikkonen here, 9th and 10th places, and that was Raikkonen just getting the 9th place.
You've got the Ferrari holding position. Raikkonen, he said he missed racing. This is what he came back for. And great stuff as he takes the car around the outside in turn 4. I don't think I've ever seen someone do that in this circuit.
go, isn't he? Down that long straight. He's side by side. Ricciardo's got the inside line here. Kimi's going to have a little go. Ricciardo locks up. Now, can he get this done now? With a decent traction out of the corner, he can on those super soft tyres, helping Kimi Raikkonen. Now Ricciardo right by him, picking up a toe. Fancy's taking that place back again. Kimi Raikkonen just a little bit too far ahead going into turn 4. Vettel, who's lapping in the upper 140s. Now we ride on board with Jenson Button. Into turn 4, Kimi Raikkonen managed to get past him. And continue to watch Fernando Alonso and Kimi Raikkonen as the McLaren pit crew now come out into the pit lane. And so they've run out from the garage, and Ferrari as well. Yes, and they're 1.3 seconds quicker than Hamilton is Grosjean, but Grosjean matching the leaders. The tyres a little bit hard. His middle sector's okay though. Look, here goes Kimi Raikkonen on Lewis Hamilton. It's an opportunist move, and he's managed to make it stick. Well, pushing as hard as he can, now comes out from behind the wheels of the Toro Rosso, moves his way past Daniel Ricciardo, almost took off the front wing of Felipe Massa in the process. Thought that was cutting it a bit fine. One, but no grip when he got there. This is Raikkonen trying to go around the outside of Sebastian Vettel, and he gets in, then he has to go across the curb and just, I think, flick the back of the... into those tyres. These Pirellis, you don't want to be stuck, as Raikkonen makes the move on Schumacher now, and a very good move at the end of the straight it was too. Hamilton, to me, wasn't gaining enough on Kimi Raikkonen. This could either end beautifully or an absolute disaster. Let's see. Or as they close up behind as well, and somehow they manage to avoid each other, and somehow Schumacher stays out in front of Raikkonen. Squeezes past Mark Webber there as well, and Kobayashi out ahead of him. 3.7 for Webber's stop. Red Bull not been quickest today in the pit stops, that's for sure. Quiet, Raikkonen's got past Senna, and eventually something was going to happen, and it's Bruno Senna and Kamui Kobayashi that comes too deep. Raikkonen now coming up to him. Schumacher is right there. Webber, Maldonado, Hulkenberg, De Resta in the top 10. Rosberg's lost out. He's down at 11th at the moment as Raikkonen makes his move on Daniel Ricciardo. Now Raikkonen can try and get past the Toro Rosso. He's been stuck behind him and blasts his way through down into losing his front wing. We maybe see it from, I can't see it from Kimi Raikkonen's cockpit. Great reactions from Kimi Raikkonen to get out of the way of that little coming together. You're living on your wits when you... Second, we're watching Kimi Raikkonen and Sergio Perez. Raikkonen has been into the pits and he's now up into 6th place, so moving back up the field ahead of Sergio. Massa in 6th, Ricciardo up the 5th, Raikkonen, how long is he going to stay 7th? Not for much longer as he squeezes past Massa, tries to make the move back on exit of turn 1. Felipe Massa, but not enough grip coming out of that corner. They spent a long time on Friday concentrating on their prime tyre runs as well. As Paul De Resta under attack, more pain coming his way. This time Kimi Raikkonen getting past him and moving up into 5th, and getting his way, and Massa comes out ahead of Kimi Raikkonen. So close that Raikkonen still might get him on warmer tyres on the run up now to turn 3. He's got the inside line. Massa helps Raikkonen out by locking up, and Kimi Raikkonen, what's that been? 29 laps in the making, probably behind him. So Vettel then with his rear gunner Webber nicely behind him. And here goes Kimi Raikkonen, sorry Martin, down the inside of Michael Schumacher, desperate to make up those places that he lost at the start, and Raikkonen has popped himself up into 6th place.
To Vettel, let's focus on the matter in hand, and that is securing the Constructors' Championship and not overstressing your alternator so that we get 2 cars not scoring any points. Oh, Jenson Button, very close to you, back to you.
Yep, he's had 1 go, he's had a 2nd go, 3rd go. Door slammed shut in his face once more by Raikkonen, who's positioning that Lotus absolutely spot on.
Some tough old suspension. Next up then for Kimi Raikkonen, Lewis Hamilton, and Kimi. Will he go for the inside? He will. So I think he'll then also still get the DRS if he didn't pass.
Kimi was not a man to dwell on his misfortune. He was now 13th and soon cast Gutierrez aside. On the same lap, he took 11th from fellow Finn Bottas.
That little kink and on the way to the final chicane. Raikkonen's going to have a little go here, tries to go around the outside and gets the job done before he breaks into the chicane. Has to go a little bit wider than he would have wanted in the second part of that chicane. Now though, a little bit overexcited possibly. Raikkonen is waiting to pounce. We see one Sauber pass another car at 130R. This time the Sauber gets past itself at 130R, not once but
He took a chance with the Lotus.
He didn't give enough room.
A bit for traction at the top of the hill and DRS. It's beginning to work now, isn't it? All the way through the field.
But if you're Ferrari, do you give the instruction to Felipe Massa as we launch Raikkonen on button again, or himself ahead of the Mexican? Meanwhile, you mentioned Kimi Raikkonen slicing his way through the field. There he goes with Lewis Hamilton just a couple of cars behind as well.
We got 3 laps of fuel 11, 3 laps of fuel 11. Use them to defend when you need them.
Raikkonen passes Adrian Sutil into the Parabolica. Adrian Sutil now ahead of Lewis Hamilton as the
And there it is, it's open now, and Kimi sees it, has to defend. But surely Lewis will be breezing down the outside. Kimi's going to come back up the inside though.
Going to be tight this one. And Hamilton just has to back out of it as Kimi Raikkonen takes and claims that 11th place.